Now I bought this particular short telephoto lens for my D800 for two reasons. Now both of these reasons have to do with handheld shooting, that is when you don't have a tripod handy. Firstly, it's said to have a super fast and accurate autofocus system, and secondly, it's got a built-in stabilization system which makes it particularly good for handheld shooting. Now when I found out that the tripod mount on this lens could be swung around to the top instead of the bottom, I suddenly had a brainy idea. Well, I guess the best way to show you what I've got in mind is to show you. Now right now it's raining outside and I'm downstairs in the basement in my workshop. I got the ISO cranked up to 2000, but as soon as the weather gets nice, we'll go outside, put it at maybe 100 and just see what this lens can do. I keep forgetting, this is a telephoto lens. I gotta be more than 4 feet away from something. I'm showing you a full frame view of each shot here, and that's followed then by an enlargement of the center, the focusing point of that shot. You know, I imagine that by now some of you have noticed that the video that little Sony camera takes is pretty good, and you're probably thinking to yourself it probably takes even better stills. Well, I'm going to explain why I want to upgrade later. I bought this lens from Don's Photo in Winnipeg, and I've bought other stuff there before, and as well as having the best price, the guy always left me with the impression, if I have any problems or I need to know anything, don't be afraid to ask. That's nice. Whoops, too close again. Now the lens was set at f6.3 for all 14 shots that were taken down here in my workshop. The shutter speed, however, varied considerably, and it went from an 1/80th of a second, and that was the shot that I took of myself in the mirror, up to 1200ths of a second, and that was when I shot the back wall where the fluorescent lights and the white paint dominated. All of these shots down here were taken at 70mm. Well, that's just a little more than a normal lens. Maybe tomorrow it'll be nice and bright and I can get outside and we'll crank it up to 200mm. That'd be like a 4-power lens, and then we'll be able to see what this lens can do. And oh, I want to mention that none of these shots are being photoshopped in any way. You're seeing them just the way they are in the camera. I mentioned earlier that I was going to tell you why it is that I'm upgrading. Well, as I'm walking around shooting here, now's a good time to do that. My last good SLR was a Konica Auto Reflex T3, and I really missed the way it felt in my hands. I missed the fact that you could adjust everything manually. I missed the quality. And I know these little point and shoots they say you can adjust them manually, but by the time you go through all the menus, your subject's gone. The last few years I've been taking a lot of video, and as you can see it actually does a pretty good job. But every once in a while, usually after about a minute, the focusing just wanders way off. And I don't realize it's happened until I get back and I'm starting to edit it out, and then I've got a big disappointment on my hands. Now I know that this D800 is a bit of an overkill for me, but as well as doing a super job of shooting stills, like I'm doing right now, it also does a super job in video. I can adjust everything manually in video. I can adjust the f-stop, the shutter speed, the ISO, focusing, everything can be done manually, or if I want, I can set it to automatic. You know, I guess you could tell when you were down in my workshop, I like to do stuff myself. and that's why I like a camera that I can adjust myself. And it's really nice to see that they've kept this old-fashioned style and adapted the new electronic image sensors into it. It got the best of both worlds here as far as I'm concerned. Okay, now I'm going to crank it up here to f8. You may have thought that it looks like I'm holding the camera pretty steady here for these shots, but actually I'm not. I was moving it around pretty good. The anti-shake was turned on the video camera. Makes it look better than it really is. I'm going to crank it up to f22. Okay, now it's at f22. That was a 50th of a second, f22. That was pretty slow shutter speed. Well, it's not too likely I'm going to be doing any handheld shooting at f22. I just wanted to see what it was like. And tomorrow, all being well, I'll do some video handheld shooting.